Hello and welcome to NJ Thrive's Small Business Webinars. Today is Thursday, May 4th, and you are attending one of our weekly webinars created to help New Jersey small business owners start, grow, and thrive. Welcome to our webinars, and I wish you all a happy National Small Business Week. I am your host for today. My name is Uzma Sheikh, and I'd like to introduce you to who we are. So what does NJSBDC stand for? We are America's New Jersey Small Business Development Centers Network. We are a statewide program powered by the SBA, which stands for the Small Business Administration, and partners to help small businesses in New Jersey with three things: no cost small business consulting, training and events starting at $0, and exclusive small business resources. If you look on your right, there is a map of New Jersey and there are counties. So if you are interested in receiving counseling, please feel free to go to our website or visit any of our regional centers, and you'll get assistance right away. I mentioned today is National Small Business Week, and in regards to that, we have our state director, Kelly Brosna, to say a few words. So Kelly, welcome.
Thank you, Uzma. I appreciate that. And how exciting Small Business Week. Just to put in perspective, this Small Business Week is a national designation, has been going on since 1963. So 59 years we've been celebrating Small Business Week. We are thrilled to be here. And we at NJSBDC are so excited to be able to help you. We have a ton of activities that have been going on throughout the whole week. So hopefully you are able to take advantage of those activities that we put on. One of the things I would like to just say, and I'm going to talk instead of just New Jersey on the national, because this is National Small Business Week. If you get services from the SBDC, we know that we help. We know that we make a difference. We can be that difference between make or break, between getting that sale or not getting that sale. So some of the stats that on the national scale, that if you are part of the SBDC world, and we collect data all the time, is every 6.8 minutes, we are helping $7.7 billion in financing, assisting businesses to access. Every 6.2 minutes on a national scale, SBDCs are helping over 85,000 new jobs being created. On 27.6% average annual sales is the increase that SBDC clients receive from us. So we track helping you increasing your sales versus 11.1% if you don't use the SBDC. And every 36 minutes, a business is being started and created. So I bring those up for a reason, because we are here to serve you, and we are thrilled to be providing this webinar this week. And our partner from SBA, John Blackstock, that is going to be introducing himself in just a few minutes. We're excited about our partnership. We're excited about collaboration. And this really is working together to help you, the small business owners. So thank you. Welcome to Small Business Week. Welcome to our New Jersey Thrives event. And I'm just congratulations to everybody for being an entrepreneur and having the guts and the patience and the stamina to make it all work. And just know you have a partner in NJSBDC, and we're here always to be there to help you, to serve you, and to help you to be successful. Thank you so much, and enjoy Small Business Week.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And just as Kelly said, we are here to serve you, and we would like to know you. So I see that there is many of us joining us here today. So please let us know in the chat where you're from, what your small business is about, what you do. If you have any contact information, feel free to share. Feel free to network in our chat section. We would love to get to know you. All right, moving on with our webinar, we have our agenda. What is it? So we have a couple of headlines to share. We'll get to our presentation, and then we'll have a Q&A session. So on our agenda, our small business headlines of the week, all of these links will be shared in the chat by our webinar assistant, Glorimer, and I'll go through them quickly, not to waste our presenters' time. All right, so first is a press release from the SBA, and it's a statement by the SBA Administrator Guzman on Senator Ben Cardin's retirement announcement. And this is issuing of the following statement by them. They're proud to recognize Senator Ben Cardin's decades of service in the United States Congress and his record of accomplishment. His steady leadership served our nation well when the pandemic grounded our economy to a halt. So definitely thankful for Senator Ben Cardin's service. Next of our headline is from NJEDA. It's a press release in celebration of National Small Business Week. NJEDA highlights $85 million in small business support provided by a comprehensive package of products. Over 2,300 small businesses have received support through the Main Street Recovery Program, a big achievement. All right, and as we know, National Small Business Week is from April 30th to May 6th. And they have given grants and loans to over 2,300 small businesses all throughout New Jersey. And it was created under Governor Murphy's Economic Recovery Act era of 2020. If you'd like to know more, again, the links are shared in the chat. Third one, NJEDA seeks public input to shape potential development of a clean hydrogen demonstration program. All right, so they've issued a request for information seeking insight from stakeholders as New Jersey explores uses for clean hydrogen to accelerate the state's transition to a green economy. The information gathered through this RFI will inform the potential development of a program that will fund the demonstration of up to $10 million could be made available for the program. And the last press release is also from NJEDA. They've opened up 2023 net operating loss program application, and it opens this week. So this was published just yesterday. That means it's been open for this week. Technology Business Tax Certificate Transfer Program, commonly known as the Net Operating Loss NOL program. It enables early stage technology and life sciences businesses in the Garden State to sell a percentage of their New Jersey net operating losses and unused research and development tax credits to unrelated profitable corporations for cash. All right, moving on with our webinar, a few things to keep in mind. All right, if you have questions up until now or throughout the webinar, please let us know in the Q&A box. You'll see a little panel hovering, or if it's there permanently, there's a chat box and there's a Q&A box. And if you complete a 3-minute survey, you'll receive webinar resources, which will include the slides from our presenter today. And just a reminder, this webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website in a couple of days. All right, without further ado, we have our presenter, John Blackstock, the SBA's New Jersey District Director for Essential Small Business Resources explained by the SBA. John, thank you so much for coming on. Welcome, and please feel free to share your screen and get started.
Thanks, Uzma. Good afternoon, everybody. I think it's safe to say good afternoon if everyone's on the West Coast. If you're heading on the East Coast, if you're on the West Coast, maybe not good afternoon, but I'm going to share my slides with you. It's my pleasure to be here with you today. As Uzma said, I'm the director for the New Jersey Small Business Administration. We work hand in hand with a lot of our resource partners. Obviously, one of the biggest ones would be the Small Business Development Center. That would be Kelly and her 11 sites with her site directors. And she's got folks, she's created a capital team that can help people negotiate loans. If you have issues with your loans, her folks can sit down with you. They provide counseling and a lot of resources for business owners and entrepreneurs. Again, 11 sites in New Jersey. The SBD network has been around for 45 plus years, and they are in every US state. So if you're not in Jersey, or if you're outside of Jersey, just Google Small Business Development Centers, and you can find out where they are. There's a link. You can create a schedule with them. You can reach out to them virtually or call them and make an appointment. Again, I'm from the Small Business Administration. It's a federal agency. We have 4 big partners: Small Business Development Center. We work with SCORE chapter, Those are retired executives that provide counseling. We have 2 women's business centers in the state of New Jersey, one in Chatham and then one down in Camden down south. And then we have 1 veteran business outreach center. So if you are a vet and you feel comfortable talking to a vet outreach center, that we've got you covered there as well. Let me go into the slide. What do we do? The SBA, we've been around since 1953, and we have 68 district offices across the United States. And I get the question, well, there's only 50 states. How do you have 68 offices? In New York alone, there are 3 offices. In Texas, there are several. So the larger the state, the more SBA locations. In New Jersey, we've got about 10 million citizens. We've got roughly 2 million businesses and a population of about 400,000 vets. So we only have 1 office. We've got 8 folks. We've got folks that are aligned to help lenders learn the ins and outs of SBA lending. We've got folks aligned in the federal contracting space. And then we've got some admin folks. But together what we do is help businesses, startups, we help those, we help businesses grow, help them expand. And then if there's any type of, I don't know, physical disaster, we help them recover. We don't do this in a vacuum. We rely on our resource network. And we have, I call the strategic resource partners, the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers. We've got SCORE, a Women's Business Center, and we've got the Veterans Business Outreach Center. But then added to that, we have our partners with NJEDA, the Economic Development Authority. We've got the New Jersey Business Action Center. We've got various chambers of commerce. So together, we provide information to help businesses and entrepreneurs get to the next step. So the resource network, like I said, whatever your issue is, if you think you got a problem that no one's ever seen, well, if you reach out to the SBA and our resource partner network, chances are somebody within our network has been there and done that. And so why reinvent the wheel when there's a template, or there's a mentor, or there is a consultant that can help you think about some things or solve problems. Our strategic partners are funded by the SBA. They get grants. And there are some of our partners that not really strategic, but I include them as well. And again, if you have a question, please email any of us. At the end of my presentation, you'll have my contact information. You send me an email. If you're within the state of New Jersey, I will align you with who I think is best to serve you. If you're outside of New Jersey, I don't mind forwarding your information on to the state where you are. And if you want to email me and say, look, I'm from this state, please connect me. I'll set you up with the SBA office closest to you. Let's see. So if you have any resource partners that you're trying to find, if you just go to sba.gov, local assistance, there's some links there that can help you navigate who best to serve you. I do want to add, there are a lot of issues during the pandemic that were state related, that had absolutely nothing in the wheelhouse of the federal SBA authorities. And then we would work with the New Jersey Business Action Center or the New Jersey Economic Development Authority to help people figure out what it is they were trying to do. We also work with the New Jersey Department of Labor if you have questions related to your business and labor needs. So which one is right for you? Well, I'm not going to tell you what resource partner is the best for you. I like to think of resources as a smorgasbord. We put it all out there, and it's up to you to make contact and see if it works. It's possible that you have an SBDC consultant and you have a mentor from another one of our resource partners. So SCORE, I used to think, I saw once what SCORE really meant. I think it's Senior Cadre of Retired Executives. But these folks, they're volunteers, and they are doing public service by giving back. The majority are business owners. Most of them are CEO, C-suite level experienced folks, and they provide real world experience to entrepreneurs. I've known some business owners that have had a SCORE mentor for decades, and they create a lifelong friendship. And all of these resource partners can help you with a business plan if you don't have one. You can reach out to them, www.score.org, go to their website, put in your search criteria, where you live, your zip code, and then the chapter closest to you will pop up. During the pandemic, a lot of their consultant would take place virtually. So there's going to be an option for you to continue doing that. I do know that in Newark, there's chapter 15. They're still doing virtual. They are co-located with our office. And at this time, we're not open for visitors. We're slowly getting back to it with the president coming out saying the pandemic is almost over. We're now walking into the endemic. You'll see more folks returning to work. So SCORE, that's one of our resource partners. SBDC, who's actually hosting this event. I work well with the SBDC network, Kelly and her whole team. Again, there's 11 small business development centers in New Jersey. They're north, I like to say central Jersey, and there's some down south. And they are staffed with a site director who is well-versed in virtually everything Business 101. And they have a team of consultants that can work with you to get you in the right direction where you need to be. One of the things that they do well is provide business plan. They can help you develop your business plan. And why is that important? Well, because most businesses, unless you have a golden parachute, you will one day need to access capital or get a loan. And most bankers, they want to see a few things when they're dealing with a business. They want to see your business plan. If you think of your business plan as your resume, that's a good way to frame it, because your resume for your business, it's kind of like you're applying for a job, but in this case, you're applying for a loan. The lender wants to know what your business is all about, who your customers are, what your projections are, where are you located, who's your competition. So it's your resume of your business. Another thing lenders want, and we'll get into this later, but they want to see your tax return. So your consultants at SBDC, they will make sure that before you go to access capital or meet with a lender, that you are solid and you've got a business plan that can answer any of the lender's questions. And it basically sets you up for more consultant. So you might say, look, I want to start this business. I don't know how to market it. I don't have a communications plan. I don't know what my growth plan is. The consultants can sit down with you and one-on-one provide you some in-depth training. Counseling's free, but some of these classes that they offer, there is a minimal fee for that. And that's for the licenses and for the time that the consultants use to provide that training to you. Women's business centers, we've got two, one in Camden, that's Laeta, and in Chatham, that's the WCECNJ, and they provide the same resources. It's just a different, it looks different on the smorgasbord, if you will. They can help you with the business plan, provide training, counseling on a variety of topics. I will say the Women's Business Center down in Camden, they do offer a lot of services in Spanish. All of our resource partners have the ability to get translation if needed. I know the big ones that we run across, Spanish, obviously, and some Chinese. And we're working with our, SBA higher ups to get some more languages, some Korean, some Indian. So that hasn't happened yet. There's a cost in that, but we do have translation that we can dial into and have a translator on the line with folks. Again, WBC business advice. And the last one is the Veterans Business Outreach Center. So for full disclosure, Region 2, the Small Business Administration, we're in Region 2. That encompasses New York. There are 3 district offices that cover the entire state. New Jersey, we have 1 district office there. And we've got Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. There is a district office in Puerto Rico, and there is a branch manager office in the U.S. Virgin Islands. One VBOC covers the entire Region 2, and they're headquartered in New York, but they do come out to the Joint Base Fort Dix, McGuire, 4 times a year, and they provide transition assistance program training to military folks that are thinking about getting out and becoming entrepreneurs. It's a 2-day class. And they also do Boots to Business Reboot. If you are a vet and interested, reach out to VBOC at www.vbocregion2.com. And there's a schedule. It's our office participating with them to provide about 8 modules that give you a very high level view of what business is and how to be very successful in it. So that's our counseling. We have 4 pillars. Counseling is one of those. Another pillar that the SBA has is federal contracting. So if you realize that the U.S. federal government is the largest purveyor or buyer of services and goods throughout the world. This slide is a little outdated. I don't have an updated number, but if we say over $600 billion spent annually, that's a lot of money. And so the federal government, Congress created a law that said, hey, we need to make sure that some of these contract opportunities are afforded to small businesses. So they actually created set-asides, and we have different categories. We have minorities, we have women-owned businesses, we have service disabled veterans, we've got hub zones, historically underutilized zones. Any of those allow folks to apply to become one of the participants in the federal contracting realm. If you go to the website www.certify@sba.gov, there's like 4 little categories. Talks one about what the program is, who's eligible. Certify talks mostly about the 8A program, and to be in the 8A contracting program, you have got to be a minority. And at the certified.sba.gov site, it pretty much distinguishes what those categories are. I get calls frequently, working with service disabled vets, Vietnam era that came back and, had a disability, and then was economically disadvantaged because folks didn't agree with the war. Unless you're one of those minorities, you've got to petition. You have to have a preponderance of evidence that, yes, you were disadvantaged economically. If that's not if that shoe doesn't fit, well, then we just go through the assistance, a veteran assistance program, and you work with the VA and contracting officers to get set-asides. Same thing with women-owned businesses. There's a program, women-owned small business. You go through that application process, you get certified by the SBA, and you can partake in this federal contracting realm. So 23%, actually that's gone up because the minorities in the 8A business, that went from 5 to 11% of that federal budget. So historically underutilized business zone, hub zone, that is another application process. If you or your business is in an area, and if you Google hub zone maps, SBA hub zone maps, it'll take you to this map, and you just pop in your zip code and it shows you a map, and it'll tell you, yes, this is or is not in the hub zone. You can drill down into a specific street. And I've seen folks where, one side of that street is a hub zone and across the street is not. The bottom line is if your business is located in a hub zone, then you can be awarded federal contracts It's 3% for the Hub Zone program. And most 30% of your folks that you hire have got to live in that area. The whole idea is to create a spark to get that economy going. So if you live in, say, New Jersey, say Monmouth County, there used to be Fort Monmouth as an Army base, and it got shuttered a few years ago. When the Army left, it left the buildings, and it took with them all the military personnel and all the jobs that were created by that, supporting that installation. They're still there, but no one's given those folks jobs. So Hub Zone program is encouraging people to create their businesses in Hub Zone. If you have a landscaping business or a trucking company, I encourage you to consider putting your location, housing it in a Hub Zone, and then applying for this program. And if you have a business or you're selling goods that the government is interested in buying, it's just a win-win. We have right now only 50 in New Jersey that are participating in the Hub Zone program. The Women-Owned Small Business program, it doesn't mean it's got to be 100% women-owned. 51% of that company has got to be controlled by a woman. So it could be a husband and wife. It could be maybe not a husband and wife, but a woman and a man. If it's a woman and two men, well, it doesn't really meet the 51% threshold, so that would be rejected. I know there's talk about the transgender. To date, there's been no change. I don't know if it requires, we don't know yet, we're waiting on a ruling, if women-owned has to be a biologically woman. But I do know that it's got to be 51% controlled by the woman. And the last one is a service-disabled veteran-owned program. If you are a U.S. service-disabled vet receiving compensation and pension from the Department of Veterans Affairs, you are entitled to apply to this program. It allows you to bid on federal contracts, and all four of these programs pretty much level the playing field for you. Your competition is just narrowed down. So instead of having like hundreds of competition bidding on these, you might have a handful. Again, certify at SBA.gov. That's a website you can get more information on. And then you can reach out to me at the end of this if you have a specific question about Hub Zone or the Women-Owned Small Business or the Service Disabled Vet-Owned program. Okay, this one, PTAC, they changed their name. It's something Accelerator. I was just at a conference and we were told last Tuesday that PTAC is no longer called the Procurement Technical Assistance Center. It's still at www.njit.edu. Nothing's changed other than their name. They are providing a lot of resource on the procurement side. So, understanding the federal acquisition regulations, that is really difficult, to navigate that. And PTAC, or the artist formerly known as PTAC, they are here to help you if you have questions on contracting. I think they do state as well. I know we're focused on the federal government contracting. But if you want to try out contracting, if you haven't, I recommend going with the state first, because at the federal government level, one strike and you're out. And what do I mean by that? Well, say, for example, your business, say you're landscaping and you got a contract to do landscaping for this one facility, and say maybe one day the weather wasn't participating and your contract said you'll do this at this time, and for whatever reason you were unable to do that. Well, it depends on your relationship with that installation. And if the installation point of contact says, well, they didn't meet the requirements of the contract, they didn't cut the grass or they didn't trim the bushes when they were supposed to, if that could give you a black eye on your report card. So it's important that you have a good working relationship with whoever you have a contract with. I've seen it where the contractor is performing wonderfully, has a great rapport with the installation. It could be a courthouse. It could any type of federal building or federal installation or federal lands have contractors. And if you are interested, we do have, the SBA has bonding. So if you need to get license and bonding, we've got some of the most competitive rates if you do want to get into it and you do perform work at federal installations. But PTAC, it's just visit www.njit.edu, and they are here to assist you with anything procurement related. A third pillar is access to capital. We think of this as loans. The SBA can help. I do want to tell you the SBA is not a direct lender, but we do have about 4,500 lenders throughout the entire network, and that's all the states that are participating in SBA lending. Specifically in New Jersey, we have 44 lenders that will work with you and provide you with SBA loans. So we have SBA backed loans, which unlike the VA home loan, we do have a guarantee. So it makes some of the lenders a little bit more easier. It puts their mind at ease that, if there's a questionable, is this business going to succeed? What's the sector this business is in? What's the volatility of this business? With an SBA backed loan, the SBA backs that loan 50%. So if you are getting a loan for $100,000, the lender is going to require you, if you have an SBA backed loan, a minimum 10% down. So sometimes it might be more, 10, 15, depends on your credit score, but just say 10% of that loan. So you need $10,000 to put on that loan. The SBA is backing it 50%. So that's 50,000 plus your 10, that's 60. The bank is only looking at a risk of $40,000. So it makes it a little easier for that bank to say, yeah, I'm going to do business with this person for an SBA backed loan. There's private investors, you could put on your best suit, your best dress, get your briefcase, go into a private investor and apply for a loan. And, that's how people did it in the past. It's still there, still available for you. Research and development awarded funds. We do have a program, the SBA, it's a Small Business Innovation Research. And I know USMA has a little bit of information about this, but the SBIR and STTR, the tech transfer, these are more along the lines of grants for inventions or products that the federal government is interested in procuring or developing, doesn't have the capacity to do it themselves. So if you have like a camera or something that NASA might need for the space program, we do have information. There's a calendar where the agencies are taking solicitations, applications to participate. The program that's there's 3 phases. I've only seen 2. The first phase up to $1 million a year. Second phase is to provide more growth and funding for you to develop that technology. We don't have many SBIRs in the state of New Jersey. We'd like to see that number increase. And then surety bonds. If you do any work on any federal installation, you definitely need to have a surety bond. That means if something happens, that's your insurance policy. The SBA has got a very competitive surety bond program, but so do people out in the civilian sector. So what I've seen is a lot of our federal contractors, like the engineers, the pavement, the people that build buildings, architects, they get a surety bond company and they're very loyal, and they don't care about they can find one cheaper. They're very loyal. But I guess what I'm saying is do your math, do your homework, and find out what makes best for you, your business decision. So the SBA's got surety bonding program as well. So how can a SBA backed loan help you? Well, we've got several loan products. Our biggest one is the 7A program. And then we've got a 504 program for machinery, land, stuff like that. The biggest one is 7A. That's where our startups, you want to launch or create your business. And most people say, well, how much money do I need? So if you call me and you say, hey, I'm going to start a business, and I get these calls all the time. I'm going to start a business. Well, what do you want to start? Well, I don't really know, but I think I can do it. Okay, well, look, you need to have an idea of what it is you want to do. You need to have experience in what you want your business to be. And then I'm going to point you in the direction. I'm going to show you all 4 of our strategic resource partners and encourage you to make an appointment with one of them and sit down and talk and discuss what makes sense. There's nothing small about small business. If you canvass CEOs of small businesses and you say, hey, what keeps you up at night? The majority of those CEOs will say, wow, it's financials. And some might say, wow, supply chain. But most of them, there's some big issues. So our consultants through the Resource Partner Network can help you figure out how much money you need. So say you want to start a business, a dog grooming business, and there's not one in your town. Well, how much does it cost? Well, are you going to build a space? Are you going to rent a space? If you're going to rent, what's the lease? What are the conditions? How much is electricity? Are you going to have vehicles? Are you going to do home care for animals? How much is that? Are you paying tolls? You have to pay your driver. Are you paying his insurance? There's a lot of variables here. And unless you've sat down or you have a mentor or you have a consultant at one of our resource partner network, there's things that folks they don't consider. And they say, look, I want to open this business and I need this amount of money. So we want you to make an informed business decision. We want to make sure people ask the hard questions, make sure you can answer those. And then when you do make a business decision, it's with confidence that you say, hey, I don't need 100,000, I actually need $300,000. So again, 7A, you can start or purchase a small business, you can acquire, you can buy a franchise, there's a lot you can do with a 7A loan. You can get a line of credit. That's another thing. A lot of lenders say, hey, like you don't need 300,000. You might need something less, but you might need a line of credit that if you need to use it, well, then you have it. 504 loans. Maybe you want to buy a mixed use space. Maybe it's got the equipment. Maybe there's a restaurant. There's all the equipment in there. We have 504 loans available to help you do that. We've got micro loans. So maybe you have a really small footprint and you need something less than $50,000. We've got micro lenders that can help you with that. Most of these loans, the max is 5.5 million. So I met a few that were, $3-4 million loans, not many, but the majority of our loans are, around 350, between 350 to 500,000. So we talked real quickly about, the resource partners and making sure that you talk to them. And you want to do that. You want to swallow your pride. You want to, open kimono. You're going to start a business and we want you to succeed. The reality is 30% of the startups, they fail. And during the pandemic, we saw a lot of businesses that just shuttered because they did not have the foot traffic. They didn't have the customer base that they needed due to a variety of reasons. But when you go to a lender, that the first impressions are lasting. It is so true. If you talk to a lender and they say, hey, I'm interested in seeing your business plan, and you look at that lender with a deer in the headlight look, that's going to raise some red flags. They're going to want to see your expense sheets. They want to see your statements, your projections. How much do you think you're going to do, and how many people are you going to employ? What's your competition? And they're going to want to look at your tax returns, at least 3 years of your tax returns, just to see if you're an upstanding citizen. I will tell you that prior to actually during the pandemic, the SBA, we had a lot of things going on. We had the Paycheck Protection Program. We had the economic injury disaster loans. And then Congress got involved. Billions of dollars were doled out in these loans, and some became grants. And some of these were, you didn't have to be a for-profit. You could have been a nonprofit. But what we're doing now, the 7A and the 504 and the microloans, you have to be a for-profit business, i.e. you have to be making money. Now, I had this question, hey, look, I provide childcare for a church, which was a nonprofit. The childcare was a separate entity, so it was considered a for-profit, and it got permission to get SBA funding. This is a good program, and I know a lot of lenders hate this when we say, hey, go to Lender Match. But if you spend some time with one of the consultants, SBDC or SCORE or VBOC or the Women's Business Center, and you have a business plan, and you and your business partners, whoever those folks are, and you say, okay, now we're ready to access capital. The SBA has got an online portal, and if you visit, and again, I can't stress this enough, do not apply for capital until you have your business plan and at least an idea that you're ready to go. So reach out to SBDC, make an appointment, talk to the consultant. You go to Lender Match, sba.gov/Lender Match. I did it. It took 7 minutes. It's a very user-friendly application. You type in there, some basics. What's your name of your company? What's the location? What do you need? How much money do you need? So you have to do all your math. They're not going to say, well, how much is electricity? How much for parking? You have to have all those numbers. And then you hit submit. And then you're going to sign your name at the bottom, and it's attestation that everything on there is correct. Make sure your social is correct, your tax ID number is correct. And then the lenders across the network, excuse me, all 4,500 of them get a look at yours if they're participating at your application. If they're interested, they will usually send you an email within 48 hours. And then you respond saying, oh, I'm interested. You might get 1, you might get 10 offers. And then it's up to you to figure out who you want to do business with, which one of these lenders. And then you talk to them. And this is your time where I say you're interviewing them, because if you have more than one lender, you've got something that they're interested in providing a loan to. The conditions will be different. Some might want more collateral than others. So that's something you and your business partners need to sit down and thoroughly understand what the requirements of that loan are. And then if you're happy, you find the right one, say you get multiple offers and you say, well, I don't like this one because they want more collateral. I like this. This is what I'm going with. You sign, and then you apply for the loan. And then a few days later, you get closing docs, and then you're well on your way to entrepreneurship. The last pillar of the SBA has is disaster. And you know what? Passaic River floods, we have wind damage down in Burlington County. Things happen. And so when things happen, if you don't have flood insurance or don't have insurance for disasters, which most people do not, what happens next is it's one, eye-opening, and it could be devastating if you have a business. So when these disasters happen, several things happen. Either the president can make a declaration, like say Hurricane Katrina, or I don't know, pick another big disaster like the fires out in California or the flooding that happened in Kentucky. If it's a large enough disaster, the president will declare a disaster. It might be the governor of the state that says, hey, look, Passaic River flooded, and it flooded all these businesses. He declares a disaster, or the SBA, the administrator, can declare a disaster. One of those 3 offices have got to declare this. If you are a business owner and you're affected, I recommend you reach out to Governor Murphy if you're in the state of New Jersey and you say, hey, look, I'm interested. Please declare this as a disaster so we can get some of the boots on the ground. Those boots on the ground are FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and the SBA. If you don't have insurance, FEMA is going to send you over to the SBA. If you have insurance, FEMA is going to take your application and work with you to restore your business. This is not just for businesses. If you're a homeowner, or if you're renting a house and it's destroyed, you can apply for these loans. The SBA, if FEMA says, oh, you don't have insurance, they kick you over to the SBA. The SBA is going to come in. You fill out an application. They'll have assessors take a look at the amount of damage, and they will offer you a very low interest loan. It's a loan. The last it was 1.875%. If you couldn't get credit elsewhere, and if you could, it was like 3.25%. But it's a low interest loan to help you get back on your feet. If you want more, please go to sba.gov/prepare. What can you use the loans for? You can use them for real estate, for your personal property, for any equipment. Maybe it was flooded. Remember the buses from Katrina? I'm pretty sure someone got some money for that. You lost your inventory. Maybe it's in a basement. It was flooded. And if you're active duty military, there's a clause in there as well that you special category. Economic injury loans, we still have those year round. I know I'm running out of time, so right on time, Uzma, I think. I'm John Blackstock. My email is my name separated by a dot at sba.gov, G-O-V. If you want, this is recorded and these slides will be shared with you after you fill out your survey. If you want to take a picture of this, I recommend you do that now. That's my email address. Send questions to me. I will forward your questions to folks if you're in Jersey who are aligned to my office. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Uzma, I'm going to keep my camera on. I know there's probably some questions.
Thank you so much, John. We really, really appreciate that. Thanks for all that information. We do have some Q&A, so let me just get right to that. We'll quickly share my screen. All right. Okay. So we have a couple of questions as you were mentioning some of the programs earlier. So we have Janet asks, my local chamber mentioned on Tuesday that the Main Street Loan Program reopened. Is this correct? Do you have any information about that?
I think I believe that's an NJEDA loan product. And I would refer you to NJEDA website or Google Main Street Loan Program. I'm not familiar with, it's not an SBA program.
Right. Okay. And then we have a lot of detailed questions from from our attendees, such as like, do you help with business plans? Do you help with ERC? Do you help with this? I just want to mention before John gets to any of those, that if they're related to how our consultants can help them, we highly recommend that you go to njsbdc.com, request counseling, and you can register for our regional center, and then they will reach out to you. And also just a reminder quickly, I don't want to interrupt John's Q&A,
No.
but this webinar is being recorded. It will be available on our website. It will be shared in the chat, available in the next 2 to 3 business days. So if you have to go due to time constraints, you can visit our website and you'll find the recording there. Also, the presentation that John shared, it is available when you complete our survey, and that survey helps us further plan our webinars and lets us know how we're doing with our webinars. All right, moving on with our Q&A. Pamela asks, do you help file paperwork for 501c3?
The SBA does not, but one of the resource partners could probably sit down with somebody and say, this is what you need to fill out.
Gotcha. And then we have, when you mentioned ERC, we had a couple of questions from then. So we have Mike asking how to get help applying for ERC.
Okay, so what is ERC? Tell me what that is.
Oh, are you asking me or just
Yes,
Mike?
yes. I don't know what ERC is.
I think it mentioned you mentioned one of the programs, and we had a couple of questions for ERC. So we can ask Mike to give us further information. If not, we can do our research and then get back to our audience.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know what ERC stands for.
No problem. Moving on to our next question. Anthony asks, what is the interest or principal percentage for an SBA 7A loan?
So so obviously, the Fed just raised interest rates again. It's now at 5.25. the way the SBA structures their loans, it depends on how much money you're asking for. There's a different percentage in the amount and the length of time. So it's at 5.25 plus, I would say 7%. So it could be anywhere from 12 to 14% for a 7A loan.
All right, thank you. And then we have a question from Vinay. And Vinay asks, what restrictions are there for employed who would like to continue employment, say for medical insurance purposes, and apply for a grant and or a loan from SBA resources?
So right now, the grant opportunities, unless you're applying for the SBIR grants, that's the only thing that we have right now. And I don't know if there's anything about being employed. For the SBA loan, it's got to be for profit. I don't know if there's anything in there that says you have to be employed, but I know that they want you to be working in the business. And there's really no restrictions to be employed. I don't know if this is a state issue for medical insurance purposes. But as far as I know, you talk to a lender, they're going to want to make sure that you are working. They, a lot of these loans, if you're like a vacant owner, like you just want to buy one of those coin operated laundries, there's a lot of folks that are interested in that. A lot of lenders want to see that you are actually there and not like off in some other state. So I hope that answered your question.
And I just want to give a quick shout out to Lindsay. Lindsay's on here helping us answer questions, typing answers for some of our audience. So thank you, Lindsay. And then we have another question from Stephanie. And Stephanie asks, any help on info programs for those needing further extensions on EIDL loans due to current economic conditions?
Yeah, I mean, so just send me an email. I'll forward it to one of our lender relations specialists. There is one program, but there's a lot of hesitation to share this. Please, Stephanie, send me an email, john.blackstock@sba.gov. And then when you send me the email, tell me where you live, and I'll have that lender relations specialist reach out to you with some information on it.
Gotcha. Thank you. What our webinar assistant just reached out, and they've mentioned that ERC stands for Employee Retention Credit, which is part of grant opportunity. So we can share that information in the chat if Mike, you're still interested. But Lindsay has also replied to that question. If you can just go to the answered in the Q&A. So hopefully that helps. If not, please reach out to us and we'll do our best to help you.
Yeah, as far as employee retention credit, I think that's a state issue. I really do. I don't think the SBA has anything to do with it, as it's not registering anything in my brain right now.
Gotcha. And then Zach, thank you for giving information for that too. We always appreciate all of our attendees helping each other out. Thank you for that. We'll take a last question and then we can move on with our webinar. Thank you so much, John.
Sure.
And then Stephen asked, I noticed NJIT Apex Accelerator requires 2+ years. Is there any assistance with procurement contracts for SDVOSB business trying to get started?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a standalone application. Stephen, send me an email, john.blackstock@sba.gov. I will send you the link for service disabled vet-owned small business. Yeah, we have 4 standalones, and that's definitely one of them.
All right, so that concludes our Q&A session. Thank you so much, everyone, for your questions. We hope that we've answered them, and if not, please reach out to us on our website, and we'll do our best to help you, to guide you in the right direction. John, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Happy National Small Business Week. We appreciate you taking out your time to be here with us today and answering all the questions and being a great partner with us.
Thanks, Uzma.
Of course. All right, moving on with our last bits and bobs. We have our upcoming webinars, and the next webinar is next Thursday, which is May 11th. And if you can take out your cameras, phone and the phone camera, excuse me, and you point it at that QR code, it'll take you to the website, our Eventbrite page. And the webinar is for Grow Your Business with NJEDA Small Business Grant Programs with Kathy Guzman, Senior Small Business Liaison. Again, same time, 12 to 1:30 p.m. EST. All our webinars are recorded. So if you can't make it, please look out on our website. And then just a reminder for everyone who does not know, NJSBDC has helped 15,000 plus small businesses grow. Again, three major things that we help with: no cost small business consulting, training and events starting at $0, just like this one, exclusive small business resources. If you would like to get started, go on njspc.com, check out our socials. And it was great to be here today with all of you celebrating National Small Business Week. We hope you continue to support us. All our associates who have joined us today, thank you so much for all your support. Please continue supporting us. And with that, I'm signing off. Thank you all so much for your help and have a great day.